They dig for the rebound. It goes in. The light is on.
And Joey Koser's had enough.
Oh, man.
You know, Koser's the guy that parked himself in front here. Castles was there. And then he squares off with one of the defensemen. A goal was scored. The light was on. Whether there was a whistle or not, I don't know. And it might have been Kovalov who scored. But Koser, I think, waited until the puck was over the line before he got involved with the defenseman.
Jim
Agnew. Two of the big boys squaring off. The Rangers are rolling here. The power play has really turned this game around. In front of the net is where Koser is, along with Nemchinov. Here comes Kovalov. I think he'll find the loose puck and then jam it in. Now, you see Agnew run a Koser, or pardon me, a Kovalov, and that's why Koser came over. Now, people will say Kovalov was in the crease. He was, because the puck was already in the crease. You'll see here, this is the second time this game that Agnew has run at Kovalov, and both times Koser has reacted.
And this is supposed to be a new penalty also, John. Checking a man into the goal
Goal crease, or the goal itself.
Right.
There you see the Whalers pushing at Kovalov, and Koser reacted. But it looks like the Whalers now will have a power play as Koser will get a 2-minute minor. Goalpost was hit. The Rangers continue to battle. In particular, Nemchinov, and then Kovalov, I think, bats the puck over the goal line. That puck would have been frozen had it not been for Nemchinov's hard work to jam it loose. Whoa,
now
boy,
will Koser gets 4 minutes for roughing. Agnew gets 2. The Whalers will wind up on the power play. The Rangers score another power play goal and lead 5-1. First, and Graves on for the Rangers. Patrick feeds Waite. Now it's Graves battling down low against Adam Burt. The puck cleared out, and Graves and Burt go at it. Drop the gloves.
And Graves gets his right hand loose. Now he gets it jammed up in his sweater, and now he's got it loose again. He is so strong. I mean strong. You see Graves with his left hand just keeping Burt's right hand down and away. Now Burt tries to change hands. A lot of battles in front of the Whaler goal here in the second period.
Linesmen try to pry them apart. Graves looks like he wants to get in another shot. And now peace is restored. That one erupted quickly. There was some battle in front. Here it is.
The Graves again outside of the goal crease. Burt battles with a stick down. Oh, they had a little discussion. No instigator. They discussed things and decided, hey, it's time to get at it. The way they went.
Wow. Al Troutwig standing by downstairs. Al, what's going on?
Well, Sam and Guts are working after a back injury and back surgery.
Nemchinov for the puck. He was taken down by Huda. The back pass to Leach. Leach run into by Conroy, who came out of the penalty box and took a run at him.
Another battle here.
Waite goes after Conroy.
There's two.
We've got another one.
Back by the net. There's
it's
two
Koser
Whalers.
And Agnew round 2.
Yeah, there was 2 Whalers on Koser for a while. The other being Huda, pardon me.
Well, Graves and Burt went for fighting at 19:01, and we'll have some more here. Now Patrick is involved.
Oh, boy.
In a bit of a wrestling match with Kiprios.
Sean Burke.
Sean Burke is out
Mike
of his
Richter's
crease.
coming out of the net.
Oh, this all hell's breaking loose now. Look at this.
Mike Richter.
Richter has come out to go at Burke. I don't believe this. This is a throwback, John.
That really is.
And it's ugly.
Rob Schick has a hold of Huda. Mike Richter in the middle. There's a twosome squared off way down in the corner. Now Sean Burke trying to rip the mask off of Mike Richter. That, I believe, is Patrick. Sean Burke has not played a controlled game at all through this game, and partly responsible, I think, for the way his team was put into a hole by taking penalties in front. Now Richter and Burke certainly used their heads and calm things down.
And this wrestling continues here. That's Kyprios and Patrick. Now, John, as a former goaltender, tell me what goes through your mind when you see the opposing goaltender leave the crease.
You don't want to see your team be outmanned or outnumbered anywhere, and you almost feel as if you have an obligation to your teammates to move down there and get involved. You can't see people on the ice get outnumbered if it's your team. Now, people, I'm sure Roger Nielsen will be criticized for putting Kosar on the ice at the end of the period. But I'd put Kosar on the ice at the end of the period. I know things have gotten rough.
He's taking his regular shift.
Absolutely. But I'd put Kosar on the ice at the end of his shift when you know that Hartford's tried to become a much more physical team this year. Kosar's job, even as a regular shifted person, to take care of his teammates. You saw him do it with Kovalov earlier. That's his job. That's life in the world of ice hockey.
Now, what happens here as far as leaving the crease to the goaltenders? Penalties here?
Burke could get tossed for a third man in type of thing. He'll certainly get 2 for leaving the crease, as will Mike Richter. The fans here are really, really behind their Rangers right now. Richter saw Sean Burke leave the crease and join an altercation. His team is outnumbered now, so he jumps in and finds Burke. This thing was bad, but it could have been a lot worse. And the linesman and the referee did a good job of breaking it up. Burke and Richter came to their senses, and they might have been just too tired.
All right.
See,
Here comes Conroy out of the penalty box.
Out of the penalty box and nailed Brian Leach. He comes out. Leach has the puck. Leach turned, and it's not a bad hit. People say it's from behind, but Conroy had no choice. But the Rangers are going to protect their people. And Waite started that thing.
Now, everybody has gone to the locker room.
Secondary fights, you are to be ejected. Secondary altercations, and this could be major. It could be misconducts or game misconducts.
John Ziegler looking on. Mark Jansen's heading to the Hartford locker room, and now joining him will be Conroy, Agnew, Kyprios, and Muda. Now the thing is,
just gotta say
as
one
far
thing.
as, yeah, go ahead.
Somewhere, and I'm sure he's got his dish going right now.
Yeah.
Don Cherry's got a smile on his face.
Oh, man. But this is something that the league wanted to get away from, because this will now be part of highlights around the country.
I understand, but you know, there's been some spontaneous fights. There was a form of a brawl, and they're right now with 32.4 seconds left, sending everybody off the ice to cool off, and they'll put that on to the third period. But this whole thing, as far as on the ice went, it could have gotten worse. It seems as though the heads did prevail somewhat. Even Patrick and Kyprios in the corner didn't throw too many punches. Burke and Richter got smart, and the whole thing settled down somewhat, thankfully.
Well, the teams head back to their respective locker rooms. The Rangers have the big lead, 32.4 block.
Graven's done a great job. He broke that play up. He broke the last play up. Oh, and Adam Graves tried to nail Cullen.
Oh, and
Cullen goes back to Graves, and there we go.
Gloves. Cullen took exception to Graven coming out after him now.
Castles goes after Graves in place of Cullen. Cullen is the best player for the Whalers. Graves came out of the penalty box, and did he take a run at Graven and just grazed him?
Graves wanted somebody. Graves. Now this is a case, I don't know. Well, let's see.
Jay Wells is working over the rookie.
Petrovitsky.
Yeah, Wells is working right over.
We have not had an instigator penalty among any of the fights in the NHL this season. Graves is going off, and he's done for the night.
Graves went out to hit somebody. It would have been a legal check, I think, from what I saw.
I think Cullen, I don't know for sure. I have to wait to see the replay, but I don't know if Cullen, in avoiding it, and if Graves stuck out his leg.
Cullen's got a battle for himself. He's coming off back surgery. He was rattled in Boston along the boards, and his teammates got to protect him. He's off of back surgery, and he's their best player. And they have more skilled players, but they're not nearly as strong a team along the boards nor in front of their net to this point. It'll be interesting to see how their season moves along. They have a fight now on the far side of the ice, and enough's enough already.
And Kyprios. the linesman will try and pry them apart. Kiprio's trying to get in. Kiprio still with his right hand free, trying to get something going. Now they're pulled apart. Boom yelling at the Whalers bench. Really turned.
It's being dragged out. Getting to the point where I even hear a few boos after the last one. Enough already. Let's get out of here.
And Jeff Boom heads for the locker room. 14.3 seconds remaining.
You try to neutralize it here, and hopefully it'll be neutralized.
McKenzie.
Oh, I like this. Roger Nielsen took Kosar off and put Messier in a spot. I think players will have respect for Messier, and hopefully nothing will happen here. Oh, McKenzie wants Wells.
McKenzie dropped his gloves already.
Man, this is silly.
Oh,
McKenzie's a brawler, too, and here we go.
And now everybody's in.
McKenzie started this whole thing. This may go back to earlier, though, when Wells was, remember during an incident, Wells was working over the young kid, the rookie? Petrovitsky. Right. And so this may be why McKenzie went over there, but I mean, McKenzie there was no doubt he started this thing. Absolutely no doubt. And it looks like it's stopping quickly, thank goodness.
Well, 10.2 seconds remaining. Just get it done already.
I hear you. The other players had enough sense.
See, my feeling, John,
and
I know we've had disagreements on positions, and we go back and forth about this fighting issue. But I think, you know, if you had the power to eject players to begin with in that first altercation, that maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe it wouldn't have.
What's the brawl? You mean?
Yeah, late in the second period. If players had been ejected.
Eject in that situation, though? Because there wasn't really a brawl. I mean, there was a bunch of players that got together, but they didn't fight and go crazy. It was bad enough as it was, and I agree to an extent. But how do you try to decide who to throw out? Listen, the NHL had a chance to make a very strong ruling. If you fight, you're out. They decided not to, and obviously through this game, there's been some bad blood and it hasn't worked.
McKenzie instigating, 5 for fighting, and a game misconduct. Whalers dispute the call with referee Rob Schick. Wells and Oyanen have come together a few times in this game. 13:20 to go as Danico and King are pushing and shoving, and here they go.
The end of the shift for King. I'm not so sure about Danico.
Danico is one strong man.
What do you think? Think there'll be an instigator here?
No.
Spontaneous? Have you still kept your stats with how many there's been?
I am not up to date tonight. I didn't put last night's games in it, but Monday night threw a lot of things out of whack. With the Rangers game, and Tampa Bay and Chicago had
that's a rivalry.
3 fights. They're getting into it. Danico and King go off. 3-0. Rangers leading the Devils.
Him, and it's getting worse and worse as he gets to the bench, and he's trying to disguise it right now. This is the shot by Graves. Broughton's going to the net, and you'll see him move around, and Pilon meets him and sticks his knee out. And we have a brawl.
Yeah.
Pilon stuck his knee out, and that's why Broughton ended up hurt.
This is Pilon and Broughton. When Broughton was skating off toward the red line, John, and feeling the effects of the injury, Pilon was right there, and Broughton and Pilon exchanged words and went at each other.
Well, you can understand why Broughton was upset. The original hit that hurt Broughton's leg was Pilon sticking his knee out or his leg out behind Glenn Healy's goal.
Paul Stewart is pointing to the locker room for Chris King.
And Pilon.
And Richard Pilon is gone. Looks like misconducts. Look like minors and misconducts. Paul Broughton is still yelling at the Islander bench. He's standing at the red line.
That leg could tighten up on him. Rangers could lose
the ice now. Leach feeding Gartner for the shot. Score! Mike Gartner makes it 6-3. Unfortunately, only 1:56 remaining in the game. And that is goal 541 for Mike Gartner, who ties Stan Mikita for 10th all-time. And now we have a fight going on. Phelan and King, who came out of the penalty boxes, are going at it.
You see, King got Phelan's visor off. And you hope that they're really going at one another.
Oh, they're throwing some
Phelan's
haymakers.
got,
Oh, man.
Man, there's a left off. There's a knockout left.
Wow.
Big punch by Chris King with a left hand. He changed hands. Phelan is an aggressive player, but he wears the visor. Not often does he get the helmet and visor off. And Chris King took care of that business. I think that dates back to the hit on Paul Broughton. But Broughton injured his knee.
All right. That one is over with 1:56. And as we were mentioning before the fight interrupted, Mike Gartner, 541st. Rangers owned by Mick Bakota. Hogue and Bork go for the puck. Bork keeps it alive after taking the hit. Rangers move up ice. Doug Waite breaking wide. Kovalov cutting through the middle. Behind the play, Jay Wells and Mick Bakota. And Wells got in an uppercut. And Bakota wrestles Wells to the ice. Oh, man, a slam.
Bakota didn't appear as though he got any of his hands free to throw punches. Wells did throw a couple. First scrap of the evening.
And they will head off. Ty Domi keeping a close eye on the goings-on. See what happened here to set this off.
See the hit. Bakota rides into Bork. Wells didn't like it. Wells. I wonder if you can turn that into the idea that he was the instigator and went over after Bakota took a hit into, or put a hit into Doug Waite. The referee, it was so far behind the play, it looks as though nothing was spotted.
Wells gets an extra 2 for interference. So the Islanders get a power play.
With the new rules in place, that's a referee's call. He could turn that into an instigator and Jay Wells would be out of the game. Instead, he felt that it was interference. The puck wasn't there with the hit and then the spontaneous fight after it. But that becomes a call that the referee has to make.
Tuesday, October the 27th, New York Knicks 2.
A goalpost away. Flyers come right back and now a 3-3 game.
Quite a turnaround. Brindamore moving away from Randy Gillen. The whistle behind the play. Domi and Cronin.
Cronin's been very aggressive in the second period when he's had a chance to play. And I think Ty Domi watched that from the bench. Domi and Cronin with Grace Campanello still involved, trying to break up these big guys.
Rangers scored 2 goals in a span of 15 seconds. The Flyers come back with 2 goals in a span of 36 seconds. Lindros from Recchi and Fedek at 9:12. Paslowski from Evans and Butsayev at 9:48. The game is tied 3-3 as Domi and Cronin go off. With Tim Hunter. Around it goes. 5:20 to go in the second. Boom with a hit on Hunter. Messier battling Sakic for the puck. And Hunter still going at it with Boom. That's an old rivalry from Edmonton, Calgary days. They're still at it. Gloves are off and they're going. And you're right behind Tim Hunter as they wrestle.
Boom's second fight. If it's a fighting major of the season, linesman getting ready. These two pretty big guys. Tap on the shoulder, say, come on, guys, we'll break it up. I don't think they'll be fighting majors. Maybe minors or even double minors.
Long-time Calgary tough guy, Tim Hunter, now with Quebec. And Jeff Boom went at it in the corner. 2-2, 3-2, Quebec leading it. We'll be right back. And along the boards, Kovalov comes free with a puck, working against Gusarov. Kovalov still with it. He shot into the crowd. Save made. Rebound Leach. Goes wide. And we've got a battle side of the net.
That's been quite a battle.
Messier.
The point Messier. Lapointe was all over Messier throughout the shift. Messier kept his cool, and then at the whistle here, I think he finally exploded with some frustration. Also, when Messier was involved with Lapointe, Hextall's hand came over, and he tried to give Messier a facial from behind. Rangers with a good flurry here, the best one in many minutes.
Graves and Lapointe.
And it was all Lapointe and Messier, center on center, standing in front of the goal. So Messier was trying to get position. Messier even went behind the net, faced the glass, had Lapointe stick through his legs. That's Lapointe on Messier. As Messier is outside the goal crease, check from behind. This is at the end of about a 30-second battle. Messier finally goes back at Lapointe, gives him the stick. Now the facial, and if we keep rolling it here, you're going to see, I think, Hextall get up and watch him reach in. No, just catch it at the end. There's Messier finally holding on to Lapointe. That was quite a battle. It was a lengthy battle. They start pushing and pushing. Oh, there's the big glove of Hextall.
I just got him on the top of the helmet. I thought he was just patting him on the top of the head.
He loves to be involved, doesn't he? Hextall.
You know, he was just watching and watching. You know, it looked like it, no problem. And then suddenly, I got to get into this. I got to.
It's like a little kid, and you put a pile of candy over there, and you say, you can't touch it. And then you just sit there and look at it, and look at it, and look. You see, and took a perfect shot to beat Mike Richter. Rangers had part of their game plan was to watch the defense of Tampa Bay joining the rush. They have 17 goals.
Domi and Mike Hartman. I don't know where this started from.
Both look like they have the left hands going. Started right off the draw. Domi with his first shift here in the second period. This will be the first penalty minutes of this game.
I sense, John, that
he's trying to do something to spark the joint.
That's it. I don't want to say it's premeditated, but I get the feeling that Domi had the idea of trying to spark this club somehow and get some life.
That's the loudest ovation the Ranger players have had here in the second period. And there's just under 11 minutes remaining.
First penalties of the game.
You know, the Rangers, you mentioned that. The first penalties of the game, and we're at the midpoint. Now, the Rangers, when they look at the tapes, the coaching staff that is, you'll see the hits, the body contacts are way down. The puck's dropped. Domi and Hartman, a few words. No instigator, and away they go. But Sam, generally you'll see the Rangers in a game that they're very involved take some penalties that are hard penalties, hard body contacts, elbows maybe, good hits along the boards, hard hits that draw penalties. And what happens is that's when you know the Rangers are really involved. In this game, that hasn't happened. The hits are way down. So you can tell that the Rangers mentally just aren't playing with that normal fire that they have.
Not only do they get fighting majors, but misconducts are handed out as well. 15 minutes. Looking for Rod Langway, who is not with the team.
And Domi pushing, shoving, talking again.
Oh, Domi drops the glove. May drops the gloves. And
Rod
here they go.
says back up and let these two guys go. Now if they don't, well, they're going to go.
May getting in the early blasts.
Domi dropped it.
Oh.
Ty Domi finally got his left hand free, connected with a left hand, and that dropped Alan May down.
Was it necessary? I don't know. Domi's been chomping at the bit for action all night. He wanted something. And they went at it.
I don't believe there'll be an instigator penalty handed out. Both players, they've been talking quite a bit during the first period. Domi came out, pushed his May along the boards, and May finally turned around and said, okay. And when Ty Domi was able to get his left hand free, pretty well finished it.
5 minutes each for fighting.
See Domi there, landing a left, and he'll come back with another one right there. And buckle. In boxing terms, that was a heck of a left, wasn't it?
I wonder if Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe are watching. 5:02 the time of fighting penalties. 5 minutes each to Domi and Alan May. Rangers with a 4-3 lead. Dale Hunter scoring early in the second period, and the noted Domi roll.
quite as animated as it used to be. The fans, not most, but some do enjoy that here. I don't know.
Is the second highest active streak in the league. Matt Sundin with 19 scored in every game.
Koser really wants a piece of Terry Karkner.
Koser and Karkner have dropped the gloves behind the play.
And finally,
Karkner's landed a couple of big ones. Koser has answered.
Joey Koser went and took the body and really wanted a piece of Karkner. Karkner finally obliged, dropped the gloves. And you see, Joey Koser will take a punch or two to try and land the big right hand. And now you see the two of them come together. Rangers trying everything to try and get something going. That's what this is all about. No doubt. Joey Koser went out to take the body. He did so on Terry Karkner, and then he just baited Karkner into a fight as the Rangers are trying to find a way to spark their bench. They're trying anything.
Fighting majors, here are some of the numbers the last 3 weeks as far as penalties are concerned. The roughings have stayed up. Last Saturday night in 11 games there were 45 roughing penalties called. Fighting has kind of stayed around the same, up a little, down a little. Instigator penalties you can see there, and game misconducts up and down.
Looks like it'll be 5 minutes apiece here. It could have been an instigator here to Koser, because you'll see Koser just stay with Karkner. Stay with him, push him, shove him. Now the puck has gone up to the other end of the ice, but they drop their gloves together and they throw punches together. The Flyers wanted the instigator to Joe Koser. The referees, after conferring again, all three of them got together, especially the senior linesman, Ray Scapanello, with Terry Gregson, and the decision was to be handed out at 5 minutes apiece for fighting.
See some blood on the knuckles and the right hand of Joe Koser, first watering them down.
First real test for Koser's right hand, and you see Terry Karkner, he too will get the ice back. You fight, you beat each other up, and then you try and rehab.
Chris King. Wade, King, and Domi on for the Rangers. Roussel moving it past Domi, who slammed into the boards. And
Boyven
ready to
and
drop
Domi.
the gloves with
Brown
Boyven.
comes in.
Brown steps in. Here they go.
You know, Domi went to slash the stick of Roussel, and Boyven nailed Domi from behind, knocking Domi head first, or at least shoulder first, into the boards. And Big Dave Brown's got the left hand going. And is he tough? Domi has a long reach to come back with, and Domi can't get his left hand free. One-sided win for Dave Brown. I don't think this one's over for the night, Sam. Domi, I think, was partially stunned with the hit from Boyven knocking Domi into the boards, and Domi went up to go with Boyven, and at the same time Dave Brown stepped in, and Dave Brown, I think he's the best at that business. He showed it.
We'll be right back. Want to leave. He gets 5 minutes for fighting in a 10-minute misconduct, and he deserved it.
Well, he got 10 minutes because as he was going to the penalty box, Ryan McGill skated by, and Ty reached out and pushed him into the boards on the way to the penalty box. So that was enough for Gregson to give him the 10-minute misconduct. Now watch the hit here as Domi moves in. He goes down with the stick.